All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we've got a uniquely fascinating challenge ahead of us. Often we're sifting through pages of dense data or these crazy intricate timelines, but today, our source material is incredibly concentrated. It's basically just one single heavy phrase. We're going to take a deliberate, almost microscopic approach to unpack these few words because honestly, they loom over an entire sporting nation like a giant storm cloud.
Just let those exact words from our source material sink in for a second. Post-Messi Argentina, the brutal truth. I mean, how much emotional and historical weight is packed into just 6 words? This isn't your everyday casual sports commentary, no way. It represents a monumental impending shift in reality. It's a hardcore declarative statement about a future that is, frankly, inevitable. So we're going to break down exactly how this looming reality is framed, literally word by carefully chosen word.
Section 1. The post-Messi era.
So, when the source specifically frames this timeline as after Messi or post-Messi, we really need to pause and ask ourselves, what does that little prefix actually imply? Post. It's such a powerful little word, isn't it? It doesn't just mean what's next. It acts as this clear, hard line in history. Think about it. In history, we use post to describe the aftermath of massive, world-altering events, right? Like post-war or post-industrial. By applying it here, the text is literally elevating a single player's career to the status of a historical epic. It forces us to ask the big question, what happens to a team's identity when the very era they exist in is named after the guy who isn't even there anymore?
The text is basically defining an entirely new epoch. We're pivoting from a reality where this central figure is a constant physical presence, right into a reality defined entirely by his absence. It's the impending reality of Argentina's football existence following his departure. And notice, the author isn't talking about a new era named after some new up-and-coming player or a brand new coach. Not at all. They're defining the future completely by the ghost of the past.
Section 2. Facing Argentina's reality.
Our source material creates this incredibly stark divide. On one hand, you have the known reality, Argentina with Messi. It's a known quantity, it's familiar, but then, on the other hand, you have the core subject of our text, post-Messi Argentina, which is intrinsically linked to the brutal truth. The text immediately strips away any comfort zone. It places the nation squarely in the crosshairs of this ominous, uncertain, and, frankly, harsh reality that directly follows the era we all know so well.
So here is the crucial point we need to grab onto. The phrasing after Messi isn't just about a simple roster change. I mean, when a typical team replaces a typical player, that's just a transition. But when a nation enters the after Messi era, at least as it's framed by our source, it's a fundamental collision with a brand new reality. The text really forces you to understand that everything that once anchored the team's identity is just gone. And the reality of whatever comes next is going to be a massive shock to the system.
Section 3. The brutal truth.
Now really pay attention to what the author didn't say here. They don't call this a mere transition. They don't call it a new chapter or a rebuilding phase or even a challenging dawn. All those standard comforting sports cliches we hear all the time. Instead, they explicitly and very intentionally label the reality of Argentina after Messi as brutal and as truth. It completely strips away all the diplomacy and all the optimism. It's just presented as an inescapable, super heavy fact.
We absolutely need to zero in on that adjective. Why must the truth be brutal? By specifically choosing that exact word to describe the post-Messi era, the text is forcing us to confront the sheer harshness of this impending void. Brutal implies a total lack of mercy. It implies something that's difficult to look at, painful to experience, and basically impossible to avoid. The source is essentially telling us that whatever illusions the fans or the nation might hold about a smooth, easy continuation of glory, well, those illusions are going to be completely shattered by a merciless reality.
So we've unpacked the heavy weight of this single, haunting phrase. We've looked at the transition from presence to absence, the stark divide in a nation's sporting history, and that totally unavoidable, merciless nature of the reality to come. As you wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you to ponder the immense weight of those words. When the familiar comforts are finally stripped away and the clock actually runs out on this current epic, ask yourself, what will that brutal truth finally look like for Argentina when the post-era truly begins? Keep that question in mind as you watch the future unfold. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive.